Welcome back, everybody. My name is BluJay, and we are back once again in my survival world, ready for another episode today. Now, if you missed the last episode, be sure to go back and rewatch that because this is part 2 of a 2-part build, and we are building the end portal room. Basically, we're doing a massive overhaul, massive redesign on the room, and we did the pillars and the walls and part of the floor in the last episode, and we did a little bit more of the floor in this episode at the beginning in that time lapse that you saw. But we need to add the fine details. We need to finish the walkway right here, we need to finish designing the portals themselves, and we need to finish the ceiling. So let's quit talking about it and let's get to building right now. The very first thing we're going to do in today's episode is design the housings for the end portal and the nether portal, because before we can design the pathway, we need to make sure we mark out the dimensions for the portals themselves. That way we're not, doubling our work and doing more, block placement than we need to. We're going to do exactly what we need to do. So the design from this is going to be a little bit different than the original. If you know anything about the end portal room from the original design in the game, there's a pool of lava directly underneath. And we're not exactly going to do that. We're going to do something a little bit different because it just doesn't match the style of room that I'm going to be building here. As you can see, we've got grass, and a little bit later in this episode, on the gray concrete walls, we're going to add a waterfall, and it just feels more like a natural, outdoorsy kind of look, and it's not going to fit to have lava per se in this build. So it's something that we're not going to reintroduce as an element for our build. So what we are going to use is the stone bricks, the cracked stone bricks, the mossy stone bricks like we have been using, and we're also going to use some spruce wood for our pathway, and that kind of fits along with the theme of the logs around the outside. Yeah, that's not looking too bad. So the theme that we're kind of going for here is, just imagine if somebody stumbled upon an enchanted temple somewhere deep in the forest and they found the end portal inside there. That's kind of the theme that we're going for. And it's kind of going to be overgrown with trees and rocks and grass and all of that kind of stuff. So we'll do that a little bit later on. But that's the idea we're going for. So let's keep working, and I'll be right back. Another block that we're going to introduce into this build is the green concrete. And while the gray concrete is kind of a main feature of this build, it's actually going to be a little bit in the background after we add the waterfalls, but it's still kind of a forefront texture and design for this build. The green concrete, on the other hand, is going to be more of an accent, and it's going to be hidden behind some iron bars and just kind of encapsulated inside this structure. So that's not looking too bad. We want that redstone lamp in the middle there to kind of light this area up, because it's going to be pretty dark in here once we get rid of the torches, because I don't want to have a bunch of torch spam everywhere. Not for a build like this anyway. We're gonna try to do our best to light this place up. I've got some ideas on how we're gonna do that and hide some of the lighting, but it's still gonna be pretty dark. And when we're done with this build, I want to see what you guys think of it. So that's not too bad. It's looking pretty good so far. Let's add these iron bars around here. And you can see it's looking pretty similar to our base design with its own little flair. Instead of using the spruce wood fences, we're using iron bars. And instead of stone and cobblestone for the wall design, we're using the concrete. So it's got its own unique look and feel. We may change it up. I'm probably going to do a little bit more designing off camera. I've done some of this in the testing world, and I don't know that I'm exactly building it block for block exactly the same, but I may want to tinker with this a little bit, because honestly it is, at least that little section of lighting is looking too similar to our base design, so I might want to switch that up just a little bit. So we're going to keep working on this staircase, and I'm going to keep working on the housing for the end portal, and we'll come back with a progress update when we've got a little bit more done. Well, we are finished with the housing for the end portal for the most part, and we moved the redstone lamps forward to be flush with the green concrete, and we narrowed it out so it's only 1 block tall. I like that a lot better. It kind of gives its own unique look and feel to this room, so it's not so pretty much identical to our main base area. This is a separate room, like we said, and we want it to be different. So now that we're done with that, we're going to move over here to the nether portal, and we're going to frame out these stairs just like this, because it looks a lot better than just having the spruce planks exposed out in the open like that. It gives it a frame. If you look at a staircase on a real house, you've got like handrails and things like that that make it frame out the staircase. It's not just some stairs out in the open. At least, not most houses. I could be wrong. Maybe there is a house that has no stair railing or frame around its stairs, but I think the general concept holds. Oh my goodness. Whoa, 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 whoa. Wow. What are the odds? What are the odds that a zombie would be on the block directly above where we're going to carve out? Oh, I'm just flabbergasted right now. Let me refocus and regroup here, and we'll keep building. All right, let's try this again. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 8 blocks tall, and I believe it is 11 blocks wide. This is going to be a slightly different design, but similar feel to the end portal that we just did. We're going to incorporate some of that green concrete and iron bars and redstone lamps, and it'll look very similar but have its own unique look, so that when you enter the room, they're 2 different things. While we continue to build this, one thing that I want to talk about this week, last week for you guys while you're watching this, because I am pre-recording some of this stuff in preparation for baby BluJay to arrive here in just a few short weeks, probably 6 to 7 weeks at this point, I had to guess. I'm going to be doing a lot of backlogging and pre-recording and trying to upload as much as I can and release, on my normal schedule so that there's still videos out for you guys. But that's besides the point. We can talk about that later. Last week for you guys, this week for me, we hit 2,000 subscribers on the channel. I am completely blown away at just the massive amounts of support from you guys. You guys are enjoying these videos, and the first episode of the server, the Unity SMP, was just so well received, and I'm just blown away at how much you guys enjoyed that, and I'm so excited to be back on that server relatively soon. We're going to be starting a starter house this week, I believe. And for more information on that, go check out that series after you watch this. If you haven't seen that, I've got 2 videos out from that series and a 3rd one on the way. And it's been a lot of fun so far. I can't wait to see how that series develops, and you guys seem to be enjoying it. I'm enjoying it, and it's been a lot of fun. And it's awesome that you guys who came over because of the Unity series are also getting engaged with this series too. That's looking pretty good, because we've got a lot of plans for this world, as I've got some plans. I don't have a lot of plans for the Unity series just yet. I'm still trying to think that through because it happened so quickly. But we do have a ton of plans for the single-player world, and I hope you guys are excited about it just as much as I am, because it's going to be pretty cool. We've got some pretty cool builds coming up, and some pretty fun adventures. We've already been to the end. We're designing the end portal room, but we've actually already been to the end to slay the Ender Dragon. And we've already fought the Wither, and we can probably do both of those again at some point on our series, because you can respawn both of those bosses, which is awesome. We've conquered the Ocean Monument, and we have yet to find the Woodland Mansion. I do have a cartographer, so we can find it, but I want to spread that out a little bit, because we did a lot of our adventuring pretty early on in the series. We'll do that sometime soon, but it's going to be a few more episodes yet before we get close to even talking about that. So let me keep working on this, and we will continue on with our build for today. Well, that's looking pretty good, but that's not. I got hit by a creeper. Oh man. The torches in this place are apparently not enough to keep us from getting creepered. I didn't hear them coming. All I saw was the explosion after it happened, and yeah. Let me patch this up, and then we'll keep working. Well, we're making some solid progress on this build. The very next thing that we need to do is start putting in the concrete and laying the foundation for the ceiling. We're just going to have a couple of rows of this green concrete going all the way around just to frame out the ceiling a little bit. I was struggling for inspiration on this particular build, and specifically on the ceiling, because ceilings are not my expertise a lot of times. I can do roofs okay, but when it comes to interior and ceilings and that kind of stuff, sometimes they're a struggle for me. Sometimes they come really easy, but sometimes they're a struggle. And this one was a struggle. And I went to the place that I go to for inspiration. A lot of times I go to YouTube for inspiration because I watch a lot of other Minecraft players and I get a lot of really cool ideas from them. But I also I search the Google images once in a while just to see what other people have built. Now, when I say that, let me be very, very, very clear about this. I never, ever rip off another player's design and call it my own. This is my design. So let me just clear that up before we go any farther. But it is awesome that there are so many resources out there that you can go and check out and see other people's builds. I mean, the Minecraft forum, there's stuff all over that place that you can go look and check out other people's builds. I post these videos on there. Whoop. Let's get out of this hole here. And there's a zombie over there in that little hole right there. There are plenty of places you can go online to find pictures or videos or what have you of builds that will give you inspiration. And like I said, I never take anybody's design and build it and call it my own. If I do use somebody else's design, like I have done with some redstone stuff, I give them credit because they put a lot of hard work into that, and every content creator really wants to be recognized for the work that they put into their builds. They don't want somebody else ripping them off and, taking credit for it. So this is my design, but I found a couple of pictures online of different ceilings that I'm like, oh, that's a really cool use of, clay or concrete or slabs or stairs or however they decided to use them. And I took some inspiration from that. And so this is what we came up with. We're using a row of concrete, just as you saw I just put in, and now we're putting a row of slabs to kind of half that concrete so that you only see the lower half. And what we're going to end up doing is we're going to put another row of green concrete right on top of the slabs, so it's one block forward and one block up. And that way we get some more dimension and our roof starts to go inward. This is going to be an arched roof since we have arches for our little waterfalls on the walls. So our roof is going to mimic that by being an arch itself. So there's a lot here to do. It's going to take me a while. I'm probably not going to do a ton of it on camera because it's pretty repetitive after a little while. As you can see, I've already been doing the same thing here for a few minutes. But we'll keep working on this, and I'll show you some of the finished result when we get there. Well, just kidding. I decided to go ahead and do the whole roof off camera. There it is. There's the arched roof. There's still a little bit left to do up here, but this episode is starting to run a little bit long, and it's taking me a couple of days to actually complete this part of the build, and it's taking a lot longer than I thought it would. So we're going to start on the ends here because we got to cap this off. We got to, put an end to the end room. That's a lot of ends. So we're going to use the gray concrete again because this is technically a wall, and we're just going to wall this off. And I had a suggestion from one of my frequent subscribers. And actually, I think I saw this from a couple of different people, but his was the first one that I saw. Master TMO, you've heard me talk about him before. He's got a subscriber house in the subscriber village, and he basically said, hey, BluJay, you could just take the concrete and put it all in place and then drop the water on it, and then you don't have to dig it back out. So thank you for that suggestion. We are going to do that right here. I've already got some already converted concrete from concrete powder, as you saw that I placed it down already. Already have that from the last time that we used the gray concrete, but we've got plenty of concrete powder to go around. And as soon as we get these last couple of blocks in place, because we're almost there, we're going to drop our water buckets on it, and you'll see it's simple as that. Well, apparently you can't put it in the corner next to a stair, so I'm going to have to take that stair out. Let's go ahead and do that. So we'll drop our water bucket right there and pick it back up. And I'm probably going to have to end up placing those torches back down because all this water is going to fall down, especially if I want to do this efficiently and quickly. And yeah, it's already begun. There goes the light. There go the torches. But that's okay. So like I said, this room is pretty dark, and there's not any natural light because it's all underground, and so we're going to rely on a bunch of hidden torches and a bunch of hidden glowstone and that kind of stuff for our lighting. All right. We're making some pretty good progress on this. I'm pretty happy with how this build is going so far. I hope you guys are liking it too. Let me know in the comments section what you think so far. I know we're not done with it yet, but I'd love to hear what you think of the ceiling so far. All right, the last thing that we need to do up here is put the pillars in, and we're going to have a couple pillars on each end of the room that line up with the pillars down on the ground. And basically, this is just to add a little bit more of a design element up here, and, you know, if we're thinking in practicality terms, if this were a build in real life, you would need some support for the ceiling because, you know, ceilings without support, what do? They probably fall down. So we're adding in a couple of pillars on each side, and we're going to do a little bit of a different design than I did in my creative testing world. It's mostly the same, but I actually didn't add those torch lights back behind the green concrete there in my testing world. For some reason, it was pretty lit up, but when I got into my survival world, it was actually really dark in here, so I decided to push the whole wall back one block. Whoops, fell down there. I decided to push the whole wall back one block and add some torches behind that green concrete. And in order to make, you know, the build look complete and not weird from the ground, we need to extend the pillar back by one block as well. All right, that's not looking too bad. I'm pretty happy with how that's turning out so far. We do need to add one more thing to that pillar that we're going to add actually to all of the pillars in the room, and that is iron bars. Now, we've got the cracked stone bricks and mossy stone bricks and regular stone bricks, and it looks pretty similar to the original look and feel of the stronghold that you find the end portal room in. But one thing it's missing is these iron bars. There's iron bars all over the place in the stronghold, and so we want to bring back that texture just to kind of make it feel a little bit more like the original design, but still its own unique look and feel. So let's jump back down here and take a peek and see what we think of that pillar. Yes, love it. Let's build 3 more. All right, we are done with the pillars holding up the ceiling, and this is the part of the build that I've been looking forward to this entire time because it means we're almost done. This build has taken quite a bit longer than I thought it would, and while I love it and it's looking so good, I did not expect it to take as long as it did, and I'm ready to work on a different project at this point, but I'm so excited about how this is turning out. So my favorite part of the build, the waterfalls. So we're basically just going to put a couple of water buckets up here, one right here in the middle, and then one on both ends. And we've actually got to... That's not an infinite water source, is it? What we need to do is take both of those water source blocks back out, if we can grab them. Come on. There we go. And let's get this one over here. There we go. And now we need to go make ourselves an infinite water source so we can put all of the waterfalls in place. And there you have it. All of the waterfalls are in place, and there's just a couple more things to do, and then we can call this room complete. Oh, I'm so excited. This thing is shaping out really nicely. It looked pretty good in my testing world. I think it looks even better here because I've made a few tweaks to the design, and I'm really happy with how it's turning out. So before we rip out this temporary roof, we are going to put in a couple of iron bars so we don't have to, pillar up to where this is in case we need to do that. I think we can reach it from the main floor. But we're gonna take all of these iron bars and put them at least on the first block right here, all the way around the room, and then we'll start ripping out that temporary ceiling. And while we keep working on this, one thing that I want to talk about is something I mentioned a couple things I mentioned in my last video on the single player series was, first, the subscriber special. I thought that that was going to be episode 29 and that the world download, which is the other topic, would be episode 30, but while I was recording that, I had completely forgotten that this particular build was going to take a couple of episodes. And so this is episode 29, as you know, because you're watching it. The subscriber special, at this point, it is 2,000 subscribers and not 1,000, which is completely nuts. But the 2,000 subscriber special episode is going to be episode 30. And then, immediately following that, I have decided we are going to do another world tour for a lot of you newcomers because, let's just face it, within a week's time, 1,500 of you were not here. We went from 558 subscribers on the 4th of July to over 2,000 a week later. It's ridiculous. Half of you guys were not here. More than half of you guys were not here when we did the last world tour and world download. So it's time. I want to show you guys around this world in case you haven't had a chance to get caught up on the series. That way you've got an easy starting point from where you can pick up and continue watching this series, so you don't have to feel like you need to go back and watch it. There's a lot of really great content in the early part of this series, but if you don't have time to catch up, I totally understand, and this is a good place for you to jump in. World Download and World Tour is coming, episode 31. So guys, I don't know what happened. All of a sudden I made a jump cut, and we come back into the room, and it's finished. Check it out. No, I'm just kidding. I went ahead and did the rest of this off camera because I am running out of time for, completing this build, and I don't want to extend it into a third episode. But, yeah, I'm loving this room. We hid some lighting in some leaves on the grass, and we put some trees in and some boulders and some overgrown grass, and when you come out of the nether portal, this is the sight that you have to see as you're running towards the end. And I just feel like it, even though it doesn't look like the end is very sparse and barren and all of that kind of stuff. There's no water, there's no grass, there's no trees. But what an awesome sight to look at before you go jump into the void that is the end. Oh, I love it. I love it. If you guys want to take a look at this build, again, the World Tour and World Download will be out in a couple of episodes, and you'll be able to take a look at this room for yourself. But unfortunately, guys, we are out of time for today. This build has taken me a couple days more than I would have liked it to because I was hoping to get this one done pretty quickly and get some more episodes recorded and turned around so that I could have some videos in the backlogs so that I can upload when the baby comes, and that way I'm not leaving you guys completely high and dry without any content. I'm doing my best to work as hard as I can, as fast as I can on some of these episodes so that we have a few more in the reserves, so to speak. So that's going to be my goal over the next few weeks, and part of reaching that goal, I announced this on Twitter, and I mentioned something about it in the last episode, but nothing specific. I have officially decided Mondays are going to be the day for the single-player series, and Thursdays are going to be the day for the Unity SMP. So I will have one episode per week on both worlds, and, it seems like I'm doing less content on this world, which that's probably true, but I'm doing more content on my channel than I was before. Before the series, before the Unity series, my single-player series was only putting out an episode every 4 to 5 days, so it wasn't even 2 episodes per week. It was just as often as I could. But that's my goal, is to have 2 episodes per week, 1 single-player on Monday, 1 multiplayer Unity SMP on Thursday. So I will see you in just a few days on the Unity SMP server once again. But for now, my name is BluJay, and I've got to fly on out of here. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.